All right, we are live, and the New York Mets are a playoff team looking for a wild card spot. I've seen it. I've seen enough. I've seen enough since opening day.
He's calling it. He's calling it.
When I was on this ship, as things were going, torpedoes were hitting, bombs were dropping, but nonetheless, I believed, and here we are. This team is a playoff team. Now we just need to get a wild card spot. Two very different things, and unfortunately, being a playoff team and making the playoffs are two different things.
Yep. That is exceptionally well said. I didn't quite understand what you meant, but now I get it, and it's so fucking true.
And throughout this next month of, let's be honest, actual hell, we need someone that is going to help us chill out, relax, and take the edge off of being the Mets fan, because we're going into the fire that is the postseason run. So you got to get yourself a Coors Light. This episode, as always, is presented by Coors Light. It's going to take us to the parade one day, maybe this year, for all I know. You don't have to be selling out stadiums to feel like you're chilling backstage. You just need Coors Light. Coors Light wants to make your summer more chill with limited edition backstage six-packs curated by some of your favorite artists, because music plus Coors Light equals chill amplified. And they have a question. Would you crack open a Coors Light and listen to your favorite hype playlist before you go on stage? Yeah, I'd listen to the trumpets. Even on an 8-3 lead like last night. Eddie comes down.
Listen, it's not trumpets anymore. I'm blasting OMG.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. OMG trumpets. I mean, who got it better than us?
We need like a remix. We need that.
Oh,
that would be fire.
Fire. Speaking of OMG, we got our boy Phil with the shirt on, just entered the pod, so he'll be coming on now. So amplify your chill this summer with Coors Light. Choose chill, choose Coors Light. Visit CoorsLight.com/believe to see how Coors Light can amplify your summer, and be sure to keep an eye out on Coors Light social handles and Coors Light Backstage Sixpacks.com all summer long for the drop. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. All right, boys. How we feeling right now?
I don't like this. I hate this so much. I don't like this. It's so terrible. It's like, I don't like this. I was talking to people on Twitter about it, where they're like, just enjoy the ride. And I'm like, fuck you. I don't enjoy any of this. And that was why I canceled, and that was why I took so long. And then I started to believe, and now I'm at the worst part. Now I don't only believe, I feel like I know. And that is not where a Mets fan wants to be, because even when we were good, the whole time I was like, I just don't think David Peterson is this good. And I just can't believe that Manaea keeps doing this. And I just was waiting for the wheels to fall off, because the baseball season is so long, as we know. And then it just kept happening. And I was like, all right, I guess so. And then now everything is clicked so well. And there's, knock on wood, a decent amount of time left, but it's not so much that you need to, you don't need 15 starts from each of them anymore. We're getting down to the stretch. And about 2 weeks ago, I looked at the remaining teams. There's the 4 teams. I think I even said it on the show. I was like, which one of these teams do you think is going to be the team to falter? Is it going to be the Braves, who we know, is stacked, the former NL champs, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, who are loaded with talent, or the New York Mets? And obviously meaning that the Mets are the type of team that falter there. And now the way these guys have been playing, I'm like, I think we're the first one in. I think we're gonna. I mean, if they keep playing like they're playing, they're gonna make a run for it, beyond the Braves. So I'm actually at the worst part of all, beyond believing. Now truly thinking we deserve it and we'll get there, plus the New York Jets about to start.
Oh, no.
That is a recipe. It's exactly what I was trying to protect against. And so many people, it's split 50-50 whenever I'm talking on Twitter. I get people who say, just get back in and enjoy the ride. Oh, it's thirds. It's 1/3, shut the fuck up, you console. 1/3, just enjoy the ride. 1/3 being, I still am not letting this happen. Like, I'm still going to watch from afar. And I wish I could do that. I just can't. When I see, even if I try to not watch, my hand just grabs the remote and turns it on. And even if I'm trying to not pay attention, I'm just zooming it. It's too much fun. They're too good. The Lindor thing to me is just, if I could maybe watch from a distance if it wasn't so heavy Lindor, because Francisco Lindor is just, aside from Big Sexy, my favorite baseball player ever. He's the guy I always wanted. I was talking about him like the beginning of his career. Somehow he ended up on my team. I'll never. It's my ultimate victory lap, and the fact that he is the one carrying them, like I can't miss this. All I'll say though is that if that start stops them from a playoff spot, it might be it's right there with 2022 for me at that point, as far as heartbreak of like, this team absolutely deserves it. They're the best team in baseball for the last 3.5 months since May 19th. And it might just be that, from April 1st to May 19th was too much to overcome. That would absolutely crush me. So here we are once again in a position of like, not only, are you going to make it or are you not? Are you going to, are you having fun or are you not? It's now I'm back in a position of like, you might actually get absolutely steamrolled. So
we almost need, instead of a console meter for you, we need the believe meter. And you are dangerously high. You are Icarus, and the sun is right there. So
I'm flying. I'm flying into the sun on wings made of the New York Mets. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Wings made of the New York Mets. Just sounds like Boeing created it.
Wings made of wax, bro. They're worse than that. I think the only thing I'll say is that like 3, 4, maybe even like 5 times now, there's been moments where I'm like, all right, this is where the death spiral begins. Yep. And not only do they not spiral, they come back stronger. They're like a muscle that you're like beating up, and then a little more, you get stronger and stronger. So like, I was down on those Padres and Diamondbacks losses. And then boom, 7 in a row. Like, see you fucking later. Like, that to me is a very different. That's different. He said 2022 is a different team. This is very different as well in a different way. But so, maybe they're just going to prove all of the old Mets tropes wrong, prove them all false. That would be incredible.
All right, Kyle, what's your stance now? How are you feeling after this?
How do you follow up on that? I think the only other thing I could add to that is that Mendoza finally feels like he's settling into that manager pocket, because pulling McGill there, it's like, the Winkers Grand Slam was obviously enough to get us on top, but McGill is not a starter. Like, he's a starter by circumstance. Like, he shouldn't be in there in the long term, and he won't be if we're making the postseason run. But for him to just realize, like, yeah, this guy's only thrown 60 pitches, but if I leave him in there, we're probably going to get fucked. And he's pitching he's calling every single game as if it's a postseason do or die. Like, Vientos batting third. He's still toying with the lineup. Torrens, it seems like every single button he's pressing seems to be paying off. And there's a reason why we're 7 in a row right now. And it's because of the team, but it's also because of what he's putting together behind the scenes.
Right.
So I think that's a huge feather in our cap coming down the stretch. That I think he is very much aware of the pressure that's on him in this team. And he's making sure like every single detail is like buttoned up.
It's from the top down, I bet.
Yeah.
Because Stearns GM's the same way, Yep. And I think Cohen owns the same way, where if that post the other day that like officially we obviously know that Verlander's not going to make that innings limit, and the amount of money and all that shit that we saved was all summarized in one tweet, plus the prospects that we got. If it was another regime, we would still have those 2 motherfuckers on our team. We'd still be paying them. We wouldn't have the prospects. Yeah. Joey Wendell would still be playing. Brett Beatty would still be playing. Like you know what I mean? So like both the team and the manager are like, if this is not working, you're fucking gone. And if it is working, you're staying in, which is, it seems like 101, but it's very different for us, because usually it's just like, well, we suck and we're going to just stay this way the whole fucking time.
Yep, and that's what the changes start at the top, start at the big man at the top, and it goes down from there. How about you, Philip? What are the fucking deep web saying about the Mets right now? The deep Mets web.
Well, we have a 7-game winning streak, and 2 of those wins are from Tyler McGill starts. So that already is a miracle in itself. And now I'm at the point, I want to say like 2 months ago, we were like, let's say we're in a playoffs year. It's like, do we really trust our rotation? Severino, Minaya, Peterson. I might take these 3 guys over anyone right now.
I mean, but like when you say that, it's like it sounds so crazy. But if you look at the numbers, it's like they can pitch with any trio, and it just feels like that to me is where the hurt will come in. If like they roll into the playoffs or down the stretch, and those guys, have the kind of starts that we thought they would probably have all year. And then that everyone on the outside laughing, going, you guys thought that Severino, Peterson, and Manaea were going to be, that's where it feels like it. But like I said, this is the team that's proven everybody wrong. So maybe they just keep on rolling. They all finish with an ERA like in the 2s. And it was just like, yeah, we have the best pitching staff in baseball. Like, what the fuck?
14-3 and David Peterson starts. It's just
I mean, if there's anyone alive out there that predicted that, a tip of the cap, man. I can't fathom how
we've said it well before this, but Jeremy Hefner is like the pitching whisperer. If you have a 1-year contract or you're trying to get a huge contract, go to the Mets for a season, come put your services in. He'll put you through the pitching academy, and then you go make your money somewhere else. I will gladly sign up for that every season.
Dude, he is some sort of magic. And usually like I don't put much stock in those guys, but like there's got to be something going on. If honestly these collection, I mean, coming into the season, I was like, even before like Senga's injury, I was like, who is gonna not like who's gonna be our number 2? I was like, who is physically gonna throw the ball every day? Because these guys ain't lasting, and they're all here down the stretch. It's remarkable.
I mean, Adrian Hauser was in our opening day rotation.
Oh my god! Some of the names, it's always, even in good years with the Mets, some of the names from the beginning of the season to the end of the season are absolutely staggering. What about you, big man? You are the captain of the ship. You were there when the shit was going down, when, like you said, you were taking hits, shrapnel, the waves were smashing on you, and you said, stay the course. You were Braveheart. You were hold, and now it's all paying off.
This is going to actually be crazy after that, like those 3 responses. I'm honestly at a point with this team, because I think it was so dark in the beginning of the year. I never got too high. And then it's like they can't rip anything from me. I'm in the same mindset I was at the end of 2016, where it's like anything they do in the postseason is found money at this point. Like, I know Connor Gillespie ripped your soul out live on that stream. I was just kind of sitting there being like, we weren't winning shit without DeGrom. Everyone was hurt at that point. Syndergaard was our only guy, and he's pitching in the wild card game. And I was I'm like, with this team, it's like, this team is running on magic. It's running on literal magic. There's good players and the fucking MVP candidate, obviously, but it's running on magic. There's memes. We have a shirt that's going to be coming out soon.
Bro, the shirt that is coming out, I'm still tweaking it. It would have been ready for today, but there was one last addition, one last change we needed to make. There's been so many awesome moments, and every time people were like, we need a t-shirt for this and a t-shirt for that. And it was kind of like, I don't know. I don't want it to be corny, or like, I don't think that one's going to sell. And then we just assembled them all Avenger style. This shirt's going to be so fucking fire. It'll probably be out today.
Okay,
so good.
Keep an eye out for the shirt today. And again, these are the kind of shirts you got to get quick, just like the one our boy Shea Parkinlot was wearing out in Arizona, like the Gary, the Death Row shirt. This one might not be in the store that long. That's all I'm going to say.
This might be short-lived.
Keep the shirt, like look at the social accounts. As soon as you see it, pull the trigger, or forever hold your peace, because it may not be there. But because of that, like, it's shitty to say. Like, I'm going to root for the team. I love this team, and I fucking think they could do anything. But I'm also not going to be like, this was our year. You felt like 06 was our year because we were so good. You felt like 15 was our year because it was so ridiculous, the amount of like the Wilmer stuff, the Yo stuff.
Yeah.
And then even 22, we were so good. And then obviously the way September happened. But because of that, and maybe it's just like hardened will, and this is the first year where I'm coming in a little more realistic, and I've kind of taken a step back from live tweeting games like a fucking Looney Tune. I'm kind of like, this is healthy. I'm healthy right now.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's why. If I could, I was right. I was there. I was where you were like 3 days ago. But this last little run pulled me all the way over. And it's not even because of me. It's because of those guys. Like, they put up with the Frank the Tanks. They put up with the Kunzels. They were down and out, and probably had every right to just be like, fuck this year. Like, look at this rotation. Look at who's injured. Look how slow of a start we got. Like,
our own teammate says we're the worst team in baseball.
Right. Yeah. Like there's just, it sounds so corny, but they just like didn't ever quit. And for that, I think they deserve it. And it's like, what kills me the most is like, if they end up missing by like a game, if the hot streak started on May 16th instead of May 19th, it would have been fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think I just got the shirt. Just came through. Let me see.
Oh, the shirt.
Baby. Okay.
And a little precursor here of what we plan for this. Every season, it would be nice if we have the shirt. and this would be the first version of the shirt, as you said, Kyle. We'll see if it happens. I mean, this is a very, I think, unique year. This is kind of like 22 when all the memories are happening, but
it's a unique year. But then you think back and you're like,
It's
if
not.
we had done this back in the day, we'd have like a black dildo shirt.
Yes. There's always, that's why, and I would love to maybe hear from some other fans, like, is it this way for the Cincinnati Reds? Do they have like 5 memes a year, or is it just New York? And part of me doesn't want to be like, New York is like, have that New York tunnel vision. But like we said, Big Sexy was kind of the barometer where like nobody made Big Sexy until he came to New York. So maybe you wouldn't have Grimace and you wouldn't have OMG and you wouldn't have all this shit. So
the only thing I can think of that is another team that Clem always brings up is the guy that said he would shit in the Toyota Tundra. The fact that didn't become a movement.
He walked so then these idiots can eat shit on the internet.
Let's get John Rich in a Toyota Tundra. Maybe he'll pick up that guy's bet. That fucking psycho.
Every so often, I'm reminded that like this isn't a real job, and it's like my coworker just ate shit online, like literally.
I was saying I can't decide whether that means I got to go work somewhere else or I'm at the absolute perfect place. I don't know which one it is. One or the other. The other thing is, I guess it's just that like baseball, like it's just a down year, right? Like a lot of teams are kind of like blah, and a lot of the great teams are good instead of great. But like I remember in 2022 and I think in 23, there was like a period of the schedule that was like a month of hell, like literally a calendar month of like playing playoff teams, first place teams above 500. And I don't think we really, I guess our hard stretch was like Baltimore and San Diego and Arizona, and we just handled it. But, even coming up down the stretch, there's the games with the Phillies, but even like the rest of it is, I guess the Brewers are good too. I guess it is going to be a tough September, but it just doesn't feel like, like the gauntlet is still ahead of us. I feel like we kind of have, we have the Reds, we got the Nationals are in between there. So there's like a little bit of a respite, even if things do get tough. The Braves aren't what they were. I mean, we are on a collision course for September 20, I think it's 20, 21, 22 or whatever
24,
it is.
25, 26.
Oh, I mean, that is full steam ahead. And actually what I'm worried about is if they are going to crush us, they are going to crush my soul. They'll beat the Braves, and then it'll be the Brewers that absolutely butt fuck us. Yeah. Just like in 08, finishing against the Brewers where like we needed to handle our business and we just couldn't. That might be what tears our soul out because they're a pretty good team. But I still like, I'm not looking ahead being like, oh no, like now is where, reality hits us in the face. I think they've beaten teams like on this level, and I think they can keep doing it.
Now, let me say this, and I'm with you about I've done the whole schedule looking. I'm looking ahead, bunch of Phillies games, which then I'm like, well, fuck it. Like the Phillies, like they keep fucking playing around. We're gonna start nipping at their heels, and then it's like, or this is the Mets fan in me, yada yada yada. Let's all just be honest, because I think we have to talk about this on the pod. That 3-game set against the White Sox was one of the most unique series I've ever experienced in my life, and I've been a Mets fan for as long as I can remember. Feeling like you have to win every single game against the worst team in baseball, being in a matchup against what could be the worst team in history, knowing you need to win every game in the middle of a playoff race, and then just like going in, like be like, we got to beat them, but if we don't, just one loss is like losing the World Series, just devastating. It was the wildest fucking ride I've ever been on in my life.
That's what I mean. It's different. They just handled it. They just did it. And I mean, we're the biggest losers in the world for like praising our team for beating literally the worst team to ever touch a baseball diamond. But that's us. It's like we were the worst team to ever touch a baseball diamond. So now, we're the team that would blow it. And maybe we exercise the demons on that one. Maybe that was like part of the journey for them is like making the White Sox be the worst team in history, handling it ourselves. Hey, we're pretty good since the Black Cat. Just saying, pretty good. Crossing the streams, whatever it takes. Also, we were praising a lot of the players, the pitchers, and I wrote this in the chat, and I kind of like backed off it after the game like last week, but after last night, I'm making the announcement on the podcast. I'm retiring from Tyler McGill starts. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. And listen, he's not like the worst pitcher ever. Like I'm not going to say that,
but he just frustrates me to a level that, again, I'm getting older, guys. I got kids. I have I have blood pressure's probably worse than it was 10 years ago. I don't need this in my life. Like Kev says, like I know what my limits are. I'm trying to be smarter about stuff. I swore off the West Coast years ago for the Dom Smith kind of games. I can't do Tyler McGill anymore. And again, he pitched awesome. Like after that, like little hiccup in the beginning,
relatively to the term awesome. Yeah.
So
you said it. He's a reliever. Like they should have left him as a reliever in college.
He's an opener. He's an opener at this point. And the worst part about Tyler McGill starts is then you got 5 1/3 of bullpen. You know what I mean? Like that's the nightmare of all. And they were brilliant, but the whole time I'm like, oh my God, 1 inning from this guy, half an inning from this guy, 1 out from this guy. Like, how are we going to get to the 9th? How are we going to get to 27? You know?
And every time it was the double play.
Every time it was double play.
I proclaimed it the summer of the double play. I feel like I've seen maybe 12 double plays this year, just this summer alone, in big spots where I'm like, we are about to get butt fucked right now. Lead off walks that just get erased off the board. Any inning ending double plays, get out of the jam. Like it's just shit that, again, usually doesn't happen, where it's like, oh, you know, if you walk the first batter in a close game in the 8th inning, he's coming around to score every time. And it's like, boom, 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 we're out of a jam. It's every time we need a double play, that ball's on the ground.
And you know what position can't turn a double play? The designated hitter position. That someone in Los Angeles plays.
Single double play. You know what I really loved? Ron Darling said it best. Now, Francisco Lindor doesn't play 162 games. He plays 1,450 innings. Because at the end of the day, Shohei Ohtani plays like, I don't know, like 50 innings. If you're considering like at bats half innings, and he just goes out there when he's up, it's not even fucking close. This dude's out there for 9 innings a fucking game. I know he's not gonna. I know Ohtani's gonna win it. I know he'll get 50-50. That's just too much to turn down. But there really is something to be said for when you play. It's not just that you play defense. It's that you play every fucking inning, every game, every second. You're playing defense. You're in the most important position. But I would say this, like if one of our guys was 50-50 and someone on another team was trying to tell me about defense, I'd be like, suck my dick, dude. Get the fuck out of here. So I understand it, but the fact that the argument is being made and enough people are like, yeah, no, like there's some truth. The fact that there'll be a minimum 40-40 and maybe a 50-50 guy, and there's still a debate, is testament to how good he is.
It's also if he was pitching or he threw a couple spot starts like over the course of this last couple, then it's like, okay, it's a slam dunk. No DH has ever won MVP. Like that was my first thought. I'm like, has anyone even come close? And it's like, no, not really, not like that. And then when it comes down to, we're going to bank on the old man newspaper writer who's going to vote on it, and we're like, oh, well, like protect the sanctity of whatever. Yeah. But I mean, the Hank Aaron Award is for the best offensive player.
We are live.
It should just be that way.
Let me send you over the link to pop the shirt up. But yeah, I mean, the problem is, if there was ever a, I'm just going to put it in the chat, right? And then you can put it up too.
Yeah.
The problem is, if there was ever a got to do it, a season to do it, it's this one. I mean, 50-50 is fucking insanity. So look at that. Look at that literal work of art. That is a fucking work of art. You got Grimace. You got just Lindor himself doing the celebration. You got Seymour Wiener in the front. You got the rally pimp at the top. You got OMG. You got Joey Churches doing his performance of OMG. You got Hawk Tua girl throwing out the first pitch. And the best OMG, the Grand Slam OMG from JD Martinez, them holding that picture, which was like, hang that in the fucking Louvre. That is the perfect Mets shirt. You literally cannot make a better Mets shirt than that right there. That is our whole season just mashed into one beautiful garment with all of the biggest characters in baseball this season, and they all just happen to be on our team as we steam to the playoffs. It is perfection.
And one of the two things are going to happen. It's either going to get framed as like the run of 2024, or you're going to find that years from now and it's going to be a vintage piece of art.
Yeah. Or I mean, worst case scenario, this is like this should sell 1 billion shirts, but if we fall short and it just goes, we send these shirts to the kids in Africa, and it's like you see it and you're like, oh my God, this was the funnest year ever, but they just didn't, they couldn't make it. But I mean, that is so perfect. We added Hawk 2 at the last second. Clem said you gotta have Haley throwing out the first pitch. I love her, by the way. I think she's absolutely fucking. She is so nice and so pleasant. People who hate on her suck. That is the fact that there's just one. I mean, the guys in the picture are obviously players, but I was just like, you just have to have Lindor himself just be just the picture of Lindor. Everything else is an absolute like disaster, shit show, ridiculous black magic team. But just my man at the top of it is, I mean, that is such a perfect shirt. I love it.
I'm live on the store right now.
Yep, live in the store right now. That link I sent in the chat. Oh wait, it didn't post. Shit, I'll send it to you. I guess it's like spam, so it doesn't show up in the chat.
It'll be on all the socials and everything too. So check out the We Gotta Believe social. KFC will repost it as well. So it'll be up there. And again, get it now. If you're listening to the pod, you're watching on YouTube, either get it now or forever hold your peace. I have people still hit me up being like, I can't believe I missed the Death Row announcer shirt. And it's like, guys, we said it. We know how these work.
I am people. Every time I see it, I'm like, God damn it.
I'm like looking around. I'm like, who's going to be the one? Imagine if Seymour Wiener was the one who hit us to C&D. And he's like, get this out of the goddamn store. No, Seymour's cool as shit. Mickey D's, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, they have so much grimace everywhere. They probably don't give a shit. It's good. Our boy Rally Pimp can have a shirt. He's on the goddamn shirt. We got to give him one.
Yeah, he'll get one. I mean, I love it. It's the perfect embodiment. And like I said, we kind of missed the boat a few times to do some merch, and now hopefully it all comes back. So buy a shirt, support the gang, support the team. It's a weird when you podcast for a team. If they have a down year, like you as a professional unit have a down year. So there was like early on, it was like, oh, this is not good. And so help the boys out, help us make up for that slow start. Just the way the team is, we need the We Gotta Believe gang to help out the team for our slow start as well.
Goddamn right. And
you know what really sucks? Let me just say this real quick. Forever, since the beginning of time in sports, the most important thing was games that matter. Late games down the stretch, in the playoff hunt, playoff push, all that. And now the Lindorks are yelling about games on April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Now all of a sudden we're putting, and what we've learned, by the way, is that all the games matter, you fucking idiots. But to now take away from this man's MVP season because of what he did 5 months ago, and while what he's doing right now is like literally nobody else better in baseball. I mean, the mere fact that he's batting 270, 280, he's batting like 100 to start the year. He's got to be batting like 330 the rest of the way. I just can't believe the goalpost moving is fucking insane. Now it used to be Lindor's not good. Now it's, oh, he's an MVP candidate, but he's just not the best one. It's like, how far are we going to move the goalposts? Oh, if he wins the MVP, well, he hasn't won a World Series. Like, we're just going to keep moving it on this guy forever. I don't know why. I don't know why he's been chosen to be this guy that just people will never give him his proper due. But, I mean, have fun trying to do the gymnastics with the stats, trying to come up with all these different scenarios to try to downplay him. Anybody, if you frame – there's a million stats in baseball and a million ways to frame them. You can always make somebody look worse than they are, or you can just admit that he's – one of the best shortstops of all time. Why not? I mean, it's insane to try to deny this guy. He's one of the best ever. When it's all said and done, it's going to be right up there with the Cal Ripkens and the Ernie Banks and everybody else, the Derek Jeters. How are you still trying to deny this?
It comes to the point now where it's just he's getting mentioned with all these Hall of Famers in every tweet. And I'm like, do I be like, I see 5 Hall of Famers and 1 not good player? It's like, it's not even worth it. They're dead. They're dead. They're buried. They're ash. They are gone into the fucking world. Now, I will say this. In defense of Ohtani, he pitches. Oh, wait. He's not.
No, he's hurt.
No, he's not pitching.
But he plays the field. He plays the field. Oh, no. He's just the age. This is the thing. The thought of Shohei Ohtani is just as much a driver of this narrative that he's the MVP as the crazy bonkers numbers, which, by the way, he goes 50-50. That's a griddle. Lindor's going to go 30-30 and plays the other half of the sport.
Yep.
not the third, not the quarter, the other half of the game. And we watched last night with all those double plays, just how fucking important he was. Because if there's a little slip up, just like if fucking Bader doesn't cut off a couple balls, Nimmo doesn't cut off a couple balls, it's 4-4 with that fucking bullpen carousel we had going on because of McGill. And you don't know how that game ends. But since he's out there in the field doing what he does, that's what makes him so fucking valuable. Some would say the most valuable player in the game. And I feel like it just drives me crazy. It's like you just throw up the numbers, the steals, which I mean, steals are a fucking sham at this point. The home runs are fucking incredible, but it's like, and that's all he does. He just sits on the fucking pine the rest of the fucking game.
Think about like how long do you think the average at bat is? Think about how just like
on the pitch clock too. Yeah, it's probably like
right. Like you know when they say like there's only like 7 minutes of action in a baseball game. And there's only like, in football too with all the stop and go. Like you have 4 at-bats a whole game. They might last a couple minutes. The guy's doing like 10 minutes of work a night.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. No wonder he should be 70-70. If you're that good and you have no other stress on your body, no other injuries, nothing else to worry about. Let me tell you this much, because I know it better than most people. The bench in baseball is the best place on earth, dude. Some of the best times I've ever had in my life was late in my childhood career, eighth grade, starting high school, riding the bench in baseball, goofing around, doing the pranks, fucking around, joking. I told the story on KFC Radio the other day. Me and my best friend were both on the end of the bench, never played. And he used to bring snacks. This man could eat, dude. He would fit right in with the snack boys. And he would bring snacks. And then he started to bring like beef jerky. And then he started to bring, like, it just kept getting bigger and better to the point that at the end of the season, he brought filet mignon in a fucking tinfoil, wrapped up in tinfoil. We were eating steak on the end of the bench, just having a blast. That's what Shohei Ohtani does for hours a night. He practically works at Barstool. He doesn't do anything. He's like all the guys at Barstool who don't do anything. He just sits around, hangs out, goes and hits a dinger, 3 minutes of work a night. MVP for that? I don't think so.
And while he's not doing that, he's getting his best friend indicted for gambling on the game.
All he's doing is sitting on his fucking app, watching how much money he's making from gambling while he throws people under the bus and ruins their life. That's your king?
No, king?
Cannot be.
And what he's doing, well, he also has a front seat for, is watching other MVPs go and take at bats. It's like, if I don't got it, Freddie got it. Mookie's back. Mookie can take care of it. Oscar Hernandez fucking doing it.
It's the classic argument. If you take him off that team, they're probably still in first by a couple games. You take Lindor off this team, they're what we expected them to be.
Last place? They last place, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Dodgers won 100 games last year. They're not going to win 100 this year. Maybe Ohtani made them worse.
I like that take.
People are saying.
If you really think about it, Ohtani was supposed to be their ace. I'll say this: he's the worst ace of all time.
Yes,
he is the worst pitcher. You're going to give the MVP to the most. This is the biggest disappointment for an ace ever. He was supposed to pitch this year. He didn't pitch anything. He's got goose eggs across the board. I would say he's the most disappointing pitcher in the history of the game. And you're going to give that man the MVP? That's insane to me.
There needs to be someone needs to get in war and put that into the formula. Like he needs to drop like 3 points at least.
At least, yeah. I can't. They do need to fix the formula. If I mean, he's also just so good though. He's so good.
He's so good.
I genuinely mean this. I think we are starting to put too much stock into stolen bases again. Like it's turned into this thing where I think because they disappeared for so long. Like the mere fact that there's a ton of guys who are going 30-30 and now 40-40 and potentially 50-50. And there's a bunch of guys who are like 20-20-20-20 and all these weird stats. Like we know that the pitch clock and the rules changed the game. We know that they were going to be up and now they are. I mean, they are important. I love it back in the game, but I feel like we've all of a sudden put a ton of stock into these stolen base benchmarks of 20, 30, and 40, where it's like, unless you're Ricky Henderson out there swiping like 100, like every fucking time you're on base, it really puts that in perspective, by the way, to see it like he must have stolen, like he's stealing like 50% of the time every time he's on base. It's fucking insane, So,
Lindor swiping that bag the other night, stealing third. puts it in your head that he knows I better at least get to 30-30 to make this a conversation down the road.
I think that there's definitely going to be some stat padding from both of them down the stretch because in certain situations, you probably can swipe a bag where it's just like, yeah, whatever, dude. I don't know.
Right.
You know?
All right, so as we get ready to come down the stretch here, we got to talk DraftKings. NFL Week 1 is here. Oh boy, Jetties on Monday night. Like Kevin said, we got the Jets coming into all the Mets fans live, so that should be fun. NFL Week 1 is here, and a new season means new ways to get in on the action on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Fans have spoken. We want to bet on touchdowns. DraftKings heard us and is delivering. I infamously love my guy, the Mecole Hardman pick. DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like picking a player to score a touchdown. You can do your first touchdown bets, last touchdown bets, anytime touchdown bets. Ready to do a touchdown dance your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $250 in bonus bets instantly, plus 1 month of NFL Plus premium on us. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BELIEVE. That's code BELIEVE for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus premium on us. Offer ends September 19th, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. So we're getting into late September now, and sounds like we may get our boy Senga back too, right?
No, don't say that. Don't get me excited, man. Don't do this to me. I mean, they said he's doing better, right?
He's throwing up right.
He's throwing up right. Yeah, he's not upside down anymore. That's good. He's not on the other side. Someone's in Japan, they pitch upside down because it's the other side of the globe. Like, makes perfect sense now.
I mean, that would be nuts. That would be nuts because then you really are cooking with gas. If he comes back and he's okay and he's good.
And listen, he had the injury problems this year, but last year he was pretty fucking solid the whole year round. Everything about this guy I fucking love. I mean, he's already said he pitched in the bullpen. He'll start. He'll do whatever he wants. He was willing to fucking recruit this traitor bastard Ohtani who didn't give us a meeting. I think he was doing the same with Yamamoto too, which, I mean, Yamamoto feels like a fever dream at this point.
Oh, my God. I forgot that guy even exists. It's crazy.
So, I mean, if we get but it's like the Senga thing is almost like this team. It's like if I start believing too much, that's where I feel like that's when I can get really hurt. And
that's where Clem. That's the fucking problem.
I don't know what to tell you, Kev. I can only do so much. I've been on the boat all year. Me and Phil were on fucking Dunkirk. Now you're back on Dunkirk. It's not a fucking paradise. It's not fun here. We're not here by choice. We're here just by we're 8 years old or 5 years old. We liked orange and blue and the fucking local team. So here we are. We're all fucking together. One big happy family. Now this is, speaking of happy family, this is my strategy for the rest of the stretch run here. You guys don't have to go this way, but this is what I'm doing personally. So last night during the game, they're cutting into the Braves, the score. It's 4-0 right off the bat. Phil texts the group. He's like, well, Braves already beat the fucking Rockies in the first inning because Cohen hits the home run. Mm-hmm. I am acting like the Braves have a wild card. And at this point, it's the Diamondbacks and the Padres who I'm scoreboard watching for. And I know we played the Braves 3 times, and don't chalk those up as 3 fucking losses if you want, because honestly, the Chop House, we've lived this fucking movie for 30 years now. And it's like, I'm just going to, so I looked at the schedule, like the Padres and Diamondbacks do play each other. I think the last series of the year, or the second to last series of the year, which is awesome. They get the Dodgers in there. Wow. I think they both have the Astros. One of them has the White Sox, which obviously hurts.
The Padres have the White Sox.
I knew Phil, the fucking baseball.
The Padres have the easier schedule. It's the Diamondbacks, I think, have the 7th hardest left.
And what are we?
4th hardest.
Yeah,
because
ours is games. Yeah, exactly. Ours is brutal. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. So if you guys just want to stop being haunted by the fucking Braves, which I'm telling you, like, there's just no reason to fight that fight anymore. Be like, and hey, if God willing, they lose 5 in a row and we go into Atlanta, win 2 out of 3, and we take their slot, awesome. But at this point, like, there's 2 other teams we can catch. Like, they're showing the Cubs game last night. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. The Cubs are not in my world right now. Yeah, I do not need a team coming from behind me.
I was going to say, that scared me that the Cubs are still within striking distance because I had not even considered that someone else might jump in the fucking pond.
Well, two nights ago, Jorge Lopez gave up four runs in relief to basically end their season. So.
Goat.
Hey, wow.
Goat.
What a guy.
Yeah, they threw and then they throw a no hitter last night, but they're 4 games back. Like, don't do that to me right now.
Don't worry
That
about the
would really
Cubs.
suck a dick. That would really suck a fat dick.
I saw Steele got hurt, right? Steele's on the IL
Steele's hurt.
now.
They got the Yankees this weekend. They got the Dodgers next week.
Woo-hoo.
The Cubs are not likely.
So, I mean, and hey, that's like kind of the best way to go, at least for me personally. It's like Mets game, win or lose, 7:00 game ends at 10. And then I wake up in the morning and find out what happened out west.
Yeah,
That's instead of like
I can't stress.
every Mets pitch, then you're looking at the Braves pitch, Mets pitch, Braves pitch. It's like, no.
That's
What
I mean, 2022 killed me. It was like I did every possible amount of scoreboard watching, and it never went well. It was always, every time I checked in on a game, they would take the lead. Every time I checked the box score, they had won. It killed me. You can't do it, whether you're a fan or a player. Like, just fucking put whatever's in front of you, deal with that, and let the rest of it fall where they may. I mean,
what do you guys think is the number that gets us in?
I don't know. I gotta look at like how many games.
Off the top of your head, if you had to get, I think we're on pace for 85.
I said 88.
I think 88, but
I was
that's
gonna
where
say 87.
Yeah. 88 feels like it should be the number. Maybe it gets a little lower because like I feel like everyone's kind of been down this year. But you know, if you're like, they're playing really fucking well and only on pace for 85, that means we got to like up it even more to get to the high 80s. Is kind of crazy.
I mean, 80 does feel like the number, but 86. I said 86 at the start.
Yeah,
of the
you had 86.
Yeah. Fucking 86.
So before the Red Sox series, I texted Clem. I was like, "This is what we need to do to get to 88 wins." I said 2 and 3 versus Boston. We already got 3 versus Boston, so already count that. 2 out of 3 versus the Reds. 2 out of 3 versus the Blue Jays. Get 1 win at Philly. Sweep the Nats. Split the Phillies. Win the series in Atlanta, and only take 1 versus the Brewers. That's 88 wins right there. And that's only taking. It basically wins every series the rest of the way outside the Phillies and Brewers.
That's not crazy though, because I mean it's
not
like
crazy.
8 series left, and if you're factoring in like 2 series losses and a split, you're not asking for perfection here.
Yeah, and
Right now it has us at 86, 87, and the Braves at 88, 89. But that's projecting that they're beating us, right?
Yeah. So that series,
our future is firmly in our hands. Like, they just need to figure it out.
On September 24th to September 26th, like I said last week when we were licking our wounds and crying about going 4-3 in the beginning of the road trip, it's not going to be easy, boys. That fucking series is going to be there. Yeah. If anything, just let it fucking rain, pour, monsoon, and just have to push them to after the end of the season, and then we can figure out where we have to go. Which honestly, that's probably even worse because then you're just waiting for your.
No, I wish that series was tomorrow. I want that series over with. I do not want that looming, man. I do not want that fucking.
When was the last time we played them? Like May? Was that the Barstool the ball? I remember Phil was like, "Oh, we don't have to face the Braves for a while."
Maybe that's part of playing the Phillies and Braves so little over the summer is wild.
The balanced schedule.
Yeah, I
only play them 13 times a year.
Even this feels weird. It's like, oh, we got some big series coming up against the Reds and the Blue Jays. Like,
the Blue Jays are the worst.
The Phillies, we played them 4 games in May, and then the London series. That was it. Like, we haven't seen them since June.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So I didn't realize. I knew that obviously it makes sense. You have to lower the other games, but you only play your in-division rivals 13 times now.
Instead of 19, yeah.
That's
in one sense, it is for the better because imagine if all the AL Central teams got to play the White Sox 19 times a year.
True,
like,
but
it would all be juiced up.
It just adds kind of takes away from the ability to to make a run at the pennant. You know what I mean? It's like once a team kind of solidifies themselves, if you don't play them at all, you don't have a chance to.
It does, but we've also seen some of the most historically bad baseball teams ever over the past few years. 2018 Orioles, 2018 Tigers, where teams basically stat pad versus those teams. Like Gleyber Torres got 20 home runs versus the Orioles in 2018 or whatever.
Right.
That stuff matters.
They're setting it up for the expansion, and they're going to try to realign the divisions, which is going to cause everybody to lose their mind.
And they are just like pedal to the metal with making changes with the sport, huh?
Yeah, they have butchered this. I mean, the DH was like the little, like the big one that was always, and it's like not even close. Phil, I gotta ask. So during this run here, with especially say the Diamondbacks and Padres kind of fall back a little bit more, game or two more, is the Phil cave 1 a.m. just churning out? You're just watching West Coast baseball and all.
Yes, I had the D-backs on my TV and Padres on my monitor.
God, you're crazy, bro.
Pirates have been bumped for the wild card race. It's good to know the Pirates are up the
Did you
street.
see the video he did with Marty Mush trying to you got to pick out the player's swing based on their silhouette? And they're like appalled that Marty can't figure out a random shadow swinging a bat. Like, I couldn't even tell you guys on the Mets, let alone fucking random players on other teams.
Can't tell that Russell Branyan?
It was
Like, you guys are the fucking weirdos, not Marty.
it was Trey Turner, and all the comments are like, "Oh, how do you not know that's
I'm
Trey
not in 2
Turner?"
seconds. I have no fucking clue what Trey Turner's swing looks like, you loser.
How about Phil guessed what Clemmer was going to bet that day
Oh,
for
that
his
was
daily
funny.
fucking data bet? He goes, who was the guy? Who did he bet?
It was Bobby Miller over 2.5 runs. Because I know Clemmer loves like fading Bobby Miller for whatever reason. So I was like, oh, if he's starting, it's like Clemmer's probably gonna pick him.
So then Clemmer calls in and like, Clemmer, who you gonna be? He's like, I don't know, I'm still between a few, but I think I'm gonna take Bobby over Bobby Miller. I'm like, oh my god, we have
What are we talking
some
about
bots.
here? Oh, I do have to give a shout out. We sent this to the group chat the other day. Our boy Jay Hay, formerly of Section 10 and Starting 9, now working on Baseball is Dead with Jared. He tweeted, he had his mea culpa. He said, it's time to say it. I may have been wrong about the New York Mets. He was the inspiration and the reason behind my 5-day console. When I was watching that game, I happened to be talking to him. And your console, it really depends on. It's like instead of talking to my sponsor, I was talking to like my junkie friend. He was like, "This team sucks, bro. This team has nothing. Like, look at their rotation, their lineup. Joey Wendell batting. You got this guy batting cleanup. You got this guy batting leadoff. This team is just blah." And I was like, "Fucking yeah, console decides it." And then now both of us have just been so wrong the last like 3 months. Oh, it's crazy.
And when it's the Nugget guy too, so he's probably dropping shit. He's like, Mania pitches a cutter. You can't throw that in City Field. You're like, you can't. You're right. I got a console.
He knows literally the most about baseball, and it just goes to show that like that's baseball, Susan. You never know. If I had to trust my life with one baseball person, it would be him, and you just get it wrong. So that was seeing like the man behind the consular behind the console. He had to come to the light too and own up to it as well.
It's the beautiful thing is that he is part of the console crew. You know,
he's the original. Yeah, it's his friend who. Yeah, his friend is the one who invented it. But
what do you call him? Illiterate derelict or something like that?
Yeah, he's an illiterate derelict, which is 2 words he would not be able to spell or say.
But Kev, what do we learn? No matter what the fucking illiterate derelict say, no matter what the smartest baseball man in the universe says, at the end of the day, what do you got to do, Kevin, if you're a New York Mets fan?
You gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.